This video is going to go over Module 13. Are you ready? So we are starting a new module about surface area and volume. So some of these things you have already learned about. So we just want to see, what do you remember? So before we take our little quiz, we're going to go over some volume questions. So volume is what is inside. What can it hold inside of it? So we've talked about perimeter. Oh, I have a white marker. Can't see that. Right? Perimeter is the outside. Walk around the outside. Area is the inside. And then volume is going to be of a 3D shape. So it's going to have three dimensions. It's going to have a length, it's going to have a width, and it's going to have a height, which makes a 3D object. And we want to see how many cubes can fit inside of that. So instead of a flat surface, so we're now using cubic. So we're going to be doing our units cubed. We're seeing how many cubes, three dimensions, fit inside of another object. So when we are doing these, we want to find our, we're doing length times width times height. So the length of this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 units. The width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our height goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to do 5 times 4 is 20. And then we times that by 4 is 80. These were centimeters cubed. So another way to think of this is that by doing the length times the width, we're finding the base. Remember, the base is what it sits on. So by doing this here, we're finding the base. This is the layer it sits on. And there are 4 by 5, which is 20. And we have that 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We have 4 layers of 20, which is 80 centimeters squared. So let's try this one here. So remember, we're doing length times width times height. So go ahead and identify the length. So our length is 5, which we can count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if it doesn't give you that. Our width goes back 2 units, and our height goes up 1, 2, 3 units. 5 times 2 is 10, times 3 is 30 units cubed, or cubic units. Let's start with this object B over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across. So 6. The width is 1, 2, 3, 4. And the height is 1, 2, 3. So 4 times 6 is 24. Times by 3 is, that's 12, 6, 7, 72 units cubed. So let's try this one over here. That is not a rectangular prism. So the rest of these, they've had the same layer repeated over and over again. This one is just a composite shape, so it's made up of different rectangles that we need to find the volume of. So let's just look at this first layer here. So here we have the width, or the length, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5, and it goes back 1, 2, 3, 4. And we only have one layer of the 5 by 4. So I don't need to times it by 1. It will just be the same thing. So let's look at our second level here. It goes over 3, and it goes back 4. And then we have our third level up on top here, just goes over 1, and it goes back 4 of those. So 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 12, 32, plus 4 is 36 units cubed. Now, one thing we don't want to do is just count the cubes, because we'll miss these cubes that are underneath here that are there supporting them. So we want to just use our mathematical reasoning and find each level. So let's try these ones here. So remember, we are doing length times width times height. So this length is 2. The width is 3, and our height is 4. So 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 equals 24 units squared. So on this bottom level, or we can look at the top here, we have 6 here, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of that. 6 times 4. So you're finding the base, one level, and seeing how many layers of that you have. So let's try this one here. Over 3, back 1, up 2. 3 times 1 is 3, times 2 is 6 units. Whoops, cubed. I wrote a square on that last one. Now let's try this last rectangle here, and then we're going to try a few of the composite shapes. So our length, there's 3, 4, 5, 6. Width is 2. Height, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 2 is 12. So on one layer, right, we can see right here we have 12. And we have 4 levels of that. 12 times 4 is 48 units squared. Okay, let's try a few composite shapes, and then I will let you do your Are You Ready? So let's start with this one here. So let's start from the top and work our way down. So on this first level, right, we can see that there are 3. Underneath that, on this next level here, there's 3 we can't see, 4, 5. And then on this level, there's the 5 we can't see under here. And this last one makes 6. So it's just using some of our reasoning skills, right? I know there's 3 under here that are supporting that, even though I can't see the top of them. There's 3 under there, 4, 5. Now this level had 5 that are covered up. There's one more. So if we add these all together, we have 11, 12, 13, 14 units cubed. Okay, let's try this green one here. So on this top level, we can see 2. So that means on this next level, there's 2 under here, and one more sticking out is 3. So this has a total of 5 units cubed. All right, last one here. So on the top, we can see there's just 1. Then we've got this rectangular piece here, 2 by 2 by 2. So 2 times 2 times 2. Here's 4, 8. So this level has 8. And here we have 3 by 3 by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So 27 plus 1 is 28, and 8 more is 36 units cubed. So when it's just a rectangle, length times width times height. And then I think there's one of these shapes on your Are You Ready that will look a little different than just a rectangle that you're going to need to do some reasoning about. And then there are also some area questions. So if you remember, anytime we're doing a rectangle or a square or a parallelogram, we just do base times height. Remember, height goes straight up and down. If we want a triangle, base times height, but we cut it in half. And if we have a trapezoid, we add our 2 bases together to make a parallelogram. So base times height, cut in half. So there's a few of those, and you're welcome to use these formulas as you are solving those. So go ahead and complete your Module 13, Are You Ready? And the opener.